Hello, episode 24, Lane 1 Talk Show. I'm your host, Philip Reed, with my co-host, Mark Weezar. How we doing?
We doing great, Phil.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
great.
but first,
But
we do have to shout out our sponsor of this video. And our sponsor of this video is Hogan Performance. Phil, do you want to talk about what Hogan Performance is?
yes, thank you. Thank you for asking. And I'm rocking my Hogan Performance gear. So it's a new coaching endeavor that I'm joining forces with Jordan Hogan, and her husband Ryan. We're launching a new online coaching platform for all runners of all levels. Mark, you and I know Jordan's performances very well. 220 marathoner, NCAA champ, NCAA All-American, high school phenom from here on the Central Coast, Foot Locker champ. Now she is headlining this coaching platform. I'm really excited to get back into the coaching game. I stepped away from coaching high school a couple of years ago. We're forming a team of coaches that all have a great experience coaching runners of all ability levels, and our goal is to help people achieve their goals, to help people level up their running performances. And yeah, so whether you're chasing a Boston qualifier, or you're just starting out, trying to get a 5K, trying to get a local 10K, we're there to support you along the way. And not just with the running and the training, but also that focus, that mindset, that lifestyle recovery, all those little tips and tricks. I know we like to joke around and have fun with the sodium bicarbonate and the caffeinated gels, but we're here we like to talk about that stuff, but we'll help you navigate what's helpful and what's sort of snake oil. So yeah, we are accepting new clients. Check us out at runhogan.com and social media at Hogan Performance if you're interested. But yeah, I'm excited about that, Mark. I as you know, we're both passionate about running, and this podcast is a good outlet for it, but this new coaching endeavor is also a good outlet for that passion as well.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. It's always nice to try to find a way to use your profession and to use your knowledge. I know that's something that tends to come to athletes, is that you find yourself in positions in a very selfish position when you are training, just because everything has to be catered perfectly for you to succeed, right? I feel like every athlete does have that itch, though, in their career to be like, how can I use this selfish endeavor to give back to the general public and to give back to the people on? For someone like you, who's a big student of the sport, you've been doing this for more of your life than you haven't by a long shot. Like, your tangible way of giving back, it's like, I've accumulated 30 years of knowledge.
Yeah.
How can I help somebody accomplish their goal like now? And then you cut the shortcuts. You have wisdom, you have things to where you can you don't have to experiment what works anymore. That's what I meant by cutting the shortcuts. You don't have to figure out what doesn't work. Like, people like you and I have A/B tested gels to see which spike your heart rate. We've done midweek long runs and done them fast, done them slow.
Right.
So you can write something for someone for 12 weeks and be like, I know for a fact you're not going to get hurt, or hopefully you're probably not going to get hurt. You're going to get really fit. And guess what? It's going to be simple, because we're going to dumb this down as much as possible.
Absolutely. We can fast track those shortcuts, right? Check us out if you are interested. This episode, I'd like to dive into your trip, Mark, to Flagstaff, Arizona for your last training camp. And then after that, we'll get into the infamous Let's Run message board. And we have some cool talking points for that one. But yeah, first and foremost, Mark, how was your trip to Flagstaff? I'm really interested in how it went. It always seemed like Flagstaff for me has always seemed kind of like the Hollywood of running, where it's the who's who, everyone like international athletes doing training camps out there. You have full-time pros, you have college kids doing their summers out there, right? You have people chasing the dream, kind of those bubble people. You have people like you and I out there going for a trials qualifiers, chasing the dream. So I'm really interested to see what the vibe is, what the groups are like. And maybe if we can just kind of summarize it, like 3 things that you thought went well, and maybe 3 things that kind of surprised you.
Yeah. So, okay, so we'll start it off with 3 things that went well. So, number 1, okay, first and foremost, I want to say had a great time out in Flag. Want to give a shout out to my boy Davis Bove. Let me stay at his house with him and stuff like that. Had my own room, so that was pretty cool. Met also a good dude out there by the name of Theo Quacks. Ran for NAU as well. Got to know him. Really good dude. So really happy that I got to share a few runs with him, be a roommate for a little while. But yeah, first and foremost, just want to say thank you to those guys, just because it was real nice knowing people while you're
Right.
up there, especially if you're not up there with the team.
Right.
But yeah, 3 things that went well. I'm gonna start number 1, training. Whole idea that I went up there, I had been racing a lot. I had been doing a lot of 1500s, a lot of 1500 work at practice. I think I went like 6 straight workouts, all at 1500 pace, because of the fact that I was racing a bunch of 15s.
And you did PR in the 15 this spring, right?
I did. Yeah, I PR'd by 3.6 seconds. So
that's a big PR.
Yeah, pretty big PB. And so my idea was like, shoot, I don't have any like threshold right now. So I was like, okay, I could make up for that aerobic fitness if I go to altitude. And I started looking at like my schedule and be like, can I make this trip work out? Can I afford to do it? Because like, I'm paying rent here in San Luis Obispo, and I'm paying rent when I'm up there in Flagstaff as well. So and also when you're out there, you eat out a lot more, and you're still like buying groceries, you're paying for gas, you're doing for the long trip, you're doing all these things. So for me, idea was like, okay, I can get more like red blood cells if I just like train up, like if I'm just training up there. So after that like point of the season, I'm like, okay, I just ran a 5K, ran 13:51, went up there. I'm in pretty dang good shape. The reason why people like going to Flagstaff is because you can go from altitude and like you can drop down. Unfortunately, the one time I did try to drop down, there was like this torrential thunderstorm.
Oh man.
I'm pretty sure my car got hit at one point. So that was pretty crazy.
But is it like monsoon season there?
Yeah, it's monsoon season because of the summer. So like you just didn't run between like 12 p.m. and 4 p.m. And because that's like when it rolls in. So, but yeah, so hit that storm. But overall, I had done altitude before. Earlier this season, I went to Denver for like quite some time. So I knew the nuances around like, okay, your easy runs, like keep an eye on that heart rate, 130, 128 to 132. And also it's like, make sure you run slow. Your legs are going to feel extra dead. So easy runs, I got that part, but the harder part was working out at 7,000 feet. So my first workout up there, I made it a point to like do some threshold. So it was like 4 by mile at threshold and then 8 by 400 at 5K effort. And crazy thing was I was able to do the shorter workouts, like the VO2 workouts, a lot easier than like the threshold, anything like that. So my first workout, I did like that 4 by mile, and I was running maybe around like 5:15 to start, and I got down to like a 5:04. And the 400s, I was running those at about like 67, 66. So like I ended up being able to run like true 5K pace.
Nice. And, so what was that on the track or was that on the roads or where was that?
Yeah, on the track. NAU leaves their track like wide open.
Okay.
So yeah, like NAU's track is wide open. So that's where I pretty much did all my workouts, like every single one of them.
That blue track?
Blue track, pretty beat up, very ugly, but it's got a great personality. But yeah, so training was going very well.
Training went well? Good?
Yeah, so the whole time that I was there, I was ripping some long runs. Shout out Under Armour Dark Sky.
Yeah, they tight?
So well, the reason I'm going to give them the shout out is because they kind of they put together all the long runs. They're the ones dropping the pin and be like, yo, this is where we're meeting up. And everybody shows up, like to the point, kind of like what you're talking about, where you're saying it's like the Hollywood of distance running. Yeah, it was like long run number 1. Jake Whiteman shows up. Like 2022. Yeah, was it 22? Yeah, 2022 1500.
Yeah, in Eugene, right?
Yeah, in Eugene. And it's like, yeah, this guy's a damn world champion. And then everybody else that's on the long run there too. Like I was by far the slowest person on this run. By far. So which is pretty crazy.
Under Armour's dropping the pin for all different groups and all different anyone who wants to come.
Yeah, anyone that wants to come.
Okay, nice.
They even do that with their workouts. Like they're gonna tell you where they're meeting up, and if it aligns, like they're like, yeah, feel free to hop in.
Who's your coach again?
Stephen Haas.
Yeah,
He's
that's right.
the agent.
Yeah, he's agent coach.
Yeah, agent coach.
I want to say he's about my generation.
Did you used to compete against them?
Yeah, was he Indiana?
I think so.
Yeah, I think I competed against him back in the day.
Yeah, that would make sense. I think you guys are about the same age.
Yeah.
But yeah, Stephen Haas would just like, or not Stephen Haas, he was in Europe at the time, but like the Under Armour team would just drop a pin and they tell everybody like where they're going to be at.
Nice.
Where they're going to work out. And if you wanted to hop in, you could.
Nice. So training went well. You got to meet a couple of name drops.
Yeah, a couple of name drops. It was pretty cool. So like you show up to the track for a workout and it's like, who's at the track? It's Obdiner, Galen Rupp, like Drew Bosley, like a lot of these guys that are really fast. And a lot of guys that are like Olympians or, like NCAA champs or like of big status.
Yeah.
Yeah. So stuff like that was pretty cool.
Nice. So training went well.
Yeah. Thing number 2. I guess it resulted in a 10K PB.
Yeah. 10K PB. That's good. Now, would you say that it was the training, the like red blood cells, but also sort of, I also feel like the benefit of training camp is like that mentality, that Spartan mentality, like you're there for a reason. You know what I mean? You're away from everything. You're away from distractions. It's just basically you have a bed and you have your training shoes. I mean, obviously you were working remotely still, so you had your day job. But like, was there also like a mental component you feel as well that was beneficial?
The mental component is like really difficult just because, unfortunately, like my trip was kind of derailed a little bit in terms of the mentality because, like at work, we're having kind of a hard time.
Oh, yeah.
So like I was definitely more focused on work in Flagstaff than I was like running.
Right.
So like the running was the things I got to look forward to, but like, yeah, I was working like, I think I worked like 10 hours a day during that time. So I was pulling a full Dougie, bro.
Yeah.
Like just working a bunch and just, so we're having some issues at work. So for me, it was like, shoot, like I had to work a lot. I was coverage for my manager who was like out of office and stuff like that. So for me, I was kind of having a rough time out there, and like the running was hard sometimes because like, for example, my race week workout, I worked 12 hours.
Oh man.
And then I worked like 12 hours that day. Like I did a full 8 hours, drove straight to NAU, like warmed up, worked out, went back to work. So like I think that did derail a lot of my flag trip, was just because like I was surviving, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a little insight into the blue collar lifestyle, right? We talked about, check out our I forget what episode, but we have a whole episode on the blue collar lifestyle. So it wasn't maybe as much of the kind of Spartan life as you had maybe envisioned without the sort of work commitments, right?
Yeah, I mean either way. So like it wouldn't have been, even if work wasn't like that intense, it wouldn't have been like the super Spartan life. But like at that point in the season, it was interesting seeing other people live that Spartan life. You know what I mean? Like my roommate Theo, dude, would go to bed at like 8 and then like prioritized his 12 hours of sleep,
man,
or maybe like 10 hours of sleep, just because he was just like locked in that regard, to the point
that's
where
impressive.
To the point where it's like, Theo's too locked in sometimes, man. But like, wound up running 13:25 this past weekend. So I guess like it works out. But it was more interesting seeing everybody live that Spartan life, because like the word I like to use, and it could be offensive, but I say desperation. Like, and what I mean by that is I don't intend it for it to like sound derogatory, but like everybody so badly on earth like wants to be great when they're up there. Like the whole mentality is like, what could I do to be like percentages better? People are like this is kind of where we get the running trends coming from, right? Like, you know how we talk about what's popular and what's been
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah.
Everybody there is like looking for those edges. Like, what is this person doing? How is this person getting better? Like, what are the tiny things you can do? It's like, oh, did you know dark chocolate before bed increases your red blood cells? Or it's like, yeah,
Dang.
like, oh, I take a spoonful of like cocoa powder before I race because that helps your like pulmonary functions and stuff like that, and the size of your blood cells. I
Yeah.
take beetroot powder every night because that's supposed to help with your blood cells. Like,
Just those marginal gains.
yeah, everything is like trying to figure out marginal. So like the big trend there right now are threshold warm-ups and threshold cooldowns.
Both.
Both. So
So
you open up with threshold so that you're warmed up. It gets the body processing some lactic so you don't have to get there. And that helps with like the faster stuff. And then you have the threshold cooldown because it's like, well, what's the point of a threshold rep? To clear lactic acid, like teach your body to clear lactic acid. So it's like, if you just did a full workout that made you go lactic and then you do that, like your body's recovering.
yeah.
Yeah. So that's the current trend right now. So anybody listening, threshold warm up, threshold cooldown.
And you might have some threshold intervals in your workout.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, literally.
Threshold. Well, I mean, yeah, I remember that very distinctly when Blake and I went to the 10 in 2024 last year.
Yeah.
And the Mike Smith group, which included Nico and is Woody in the Mike Smith group?
Yeah, Woody
and Abdi. They were like hauling through the parking lot doing their threshold warm up.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, obviously he ran well that day. He ended up making the Olympics, and you know, Nico's gonna give Grant a run for his money now.
Yeah, dude. I wonder if Grant's healthy right now. He hasn't raced any of these big races, which is kind of out of character.
Yeah.
Like, I figured if he was ready for Grand Slam LA, like he would, and knowing how much they canceled it, maybe he didn't intend on racing and like it was too late to get him to meets, or like to book travel, but I don't know.
Yeah, I wonder, but Grant is so like he has such a good understanding of what he needs to do. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I'm an idiot. He literally paced Faith today.
Yeah.
So like he's healthy.
Yeah, he's healthy.
Yeah.
And he looks so smooth. He was like Faith's like right-hand man.
Dude, it breaks my freaking heart how he basically jogged like close to my mile PB.
Yep.
In lane 2.
Yep. He won
in lane 2.
He pretty much won all 50 state meets for the boys' high school mile jogging.
In lane 2. So he probably like broke 4 in a jogging effort.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so you PR'd.
Yeah. So that was good. Walked away with a good 10K PB at Portland.
Yep.
It does feel bittersweet because I was on pace for like 28:20 through 22 laps.
Yeah.
And when I got passed by the 28:30 pace lights, that like killed my soul. Because still managed to walk away with the 28:51, which I mean is not near what I wanted. Like I started running 75s in the race. You never want that. Like you want to die to 70s.
Yep.
And if I ran 70s, I would have ran like 28:30 something, like pretty low. But overall, like I texted Joe about it and was just like, yeah, I'm kind of bummed. And he goes, you're literally the fastest you've ever been right now. Like find some solace in that.
Hey,
and
wise.
Yeah, wise. And I was like, yeah, you're right. Like I PR'd 4 times out of 7 out of the season. 4 times that I stepped on the track, I walked away the best I ever was.
Yeah.
So you can't really get upset about that.
No, and I really like I don't know if I sent this reel to you, but there's that Giannis quote. I think it was it was I think it was a couple years old when they maybe got booted from the playoffs or lost in the playoffs or something, and it was like there's no failure in sport. Remember that quote? Yeah. And I really feel like that applies to what we do, right? Because there's always this like, oh, you know, these guys ran, you know, broke 28 or whatever, like, and the thing is, like, you have to keep it in perspective, and there is no failure. You know what I mean? It's only growth. It's only learning. It's only moving forward. It's, and,
Yeah.
so I, I, yeah, I think that that definitely applies. And, that's why it's great to have people like Joe. That's why it's great to have coaches, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
To kind
Yeah.
of put things in perspective. And I've been able to go out to practice a lot more lately, and he's just been dropping some just knowledge lately. Like I've been doing this for like 30 years, and it's like he'll have a quote and it's just like it just hits different. So training went well. You PR'd. What's one more thing that went well?
I got to live in a different state for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. Everybody that knows me is like knowing I'm going through this like itch for excitement, like
Yeah.
for a lack of a better term. Like I just have this itch of like trying to change things up, and I think that does have a lot to do with like, I've lived in slow for 8 years. I've done the same routine for 8 years. We run second farm for 8 years. Like we do the same workouts, same 300 grass field, like up, you know what I'm talking about, the 300 hill on the grass field. Like
Yep.
I think I just kind of burnt myself out a little bit because like I do like rhythm. I
Mm-hmm.
do like momentum in that regard, but like I remember I stepped on the grass field for workout number 1, the upper field at Poly back in, I think it was fall 2024 or no, 2023. And I felt sick to my stomach, dude. Like, and that was probably one of my like worst track seasons because I just like ran bad, but like I felt sick to my stomach because I was like, dude, the monotony
Mm-hmm.
and just like not having fun and like,
Yeah. And I think
yeah,
everybody has their own balance, right? Like
yeah,
there's a certain amount of like safety and security in the monotony.
yeah,
But sometimes you need to change it up, right?
yeah, definitely. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. Like, so for me, going to Arizona was like nice to scratch that itch a little bit because I had such a good time in Denver that like when I had to come back to slow, it kind of just felt like a damn it, like back to my normal life, back to
Yeah.
my normal, like kind of more like boring life in that regard to where I'm like so locked in. But it's like, okay, I need another trip. So I feel like Flagstaff did a really good job of like scratching that itch.
Yeah.
Although like Flag wasn't really my favorite city, if I'm being honest.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
it was something new. I got to scratch the itch to travel.
Yeah.
So when I came back to slow this time around, I was like, okay, I'm happy to be home. Like I'm excited to be home.
Yeah. And it puts things in perspective, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you start to miss your the people you're around, your routine and slow.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
So what were certain things that surprised you?
Number one, not that he's not a good dude, but like the amount of respect Mike Smith shows to people using the track. Well, his team is there.
Really?
So like, yeah, like my example is when I was using the track, he yelled at his athletes to get out of lane 1. And this is the week, like 10 days, or this is a week out from NCAAs. So they're all his like fastest athletes. And his athletes are doing strides in lane 1. And I'm going out to lane 2 because I'm like trying not to be difficult because like the NAU team is there working out. It's
Yeah.
kind of like if we're at Poly and the Poly team's working out, like we're respectful of like what Van Hoy's doing there.
Right.
But Mike Smith like yells at his guys like, yo, get out of lane 1. He's working out. So like,
That's cool. That's
yeah.
cool. That's
And
some
then,
OG. Yeah.
yeah. And then like going back to like the amount of respect that like they showed, they leave the track open for anybody to
That's
use
cool.
at any time. Yeah, so everybody, all the teams, all at once, like pretty much at the same time. Like you roll up to that track, it's never empty. There's always someone doing something. There's
Yeah.
always someone doing a workout. And you don't get that very much. Like we're fortunate and slow to where the university lets anybody use it. Cuesta lets anybody use their track. Slow High, we have to rent it out, but like if no one's on it, you could use it.
Right.
So that is like a real big luxury. It's not like that at many other places. I've been kicked off so many tracks in my life
Yeah.
and or tracks that are just locked up. So being a running mecca like
And having a
Flagstaff
place to
is,
yeah, and having a place to run.
yeah, and having a place to run and you don't even have to stress about getting kicked off, I think that's pretty cool.
Nice. So that is like cool, and and I guess I'm not surprised. I mean, it is surprising, but it also like, that is cool that, the head coach and the school itself is open to the
Yeah.
public in that way.
Yeah. Number two, kind of how frequent and out and about that you see a lot of the really good guys.
Yeah,
Like I probably ran into Jake Whiteman more than like anybody up there outside of my roommates
that's so cool.
because
That's cool.
he's at the coffee shop that I was going to. Shout
Yeah,
out Single Speed. They let me stay there like every day for 2 weeks,
nice.
like to work with spending minimal dollars. I'd pack my own breakfast, bro. My own breakfast and lunch, and I'd eat it there just because it got expensive. But like kind of just everybody's just out and about, I think was the biggest thing. You'll see like world champion here at the coffee shop. It's like, oh, that guy just went under 13 here on the long run. Like,
That's so cool.
yeah. So, or I'm out on a random flat road that everybody runs on, and you see people doing workouts there, and it's like, oh, that's Hobbs Kessler and Bryce Hoppel. Like doing stuff like that, I think it was really cool because maybe to them at this point they're numb to it, but like, man, I'm kind of a big fish in a small pond wherever I go in the sense of like if I go home, I'm the fastest runner in like the area.
Hmm.
Like I can win any race down there. If I'm in slow, I'm like top three in terms of like being one of the fastest runners in the city, stuff like
Hmm.
that. So it's like everywhere I go, I'm usually one of the better runners, but to go out there and like be so inferior in every single event where these people who don't even see my event as their main event could run faster than me. So,
Did you feel like there was a little bit of keeping up with the Joneses, or
oh, definitely.
was there was it like a who's who, like kind of like check your report card kind of thing?
Definitely. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's just a natural thing, right? Like everybody's talking about like what workout somebody else did up there. Everyone's talking about like, oh, what they're doing for long runs. Oh, what are they doing for this workout? Do they agree with that or not? Or like, why is Under Armour doing like pickups during their long runs? They just worked out like on Friday. They're gonna burn out, stuff like that. So like everybody's trying to also size each other up in like
Yeah.
terms of contracts or like in
Yeah.
terms of, oh, what are they doing? Like, so for example, the warm up threshold, warm up, cool down, stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
trying to figure out what everybody's doing and like try to get an edge, but also like they don't really have animosity towards each other,
Right.
like as people.
Because I mean, just listening to you describe that situation on the ground in Flagstaff, because you're going to have there's known groups, right? There's known organized groups that have the same coach,
Yeah.
and even within the group, you might have a little bit of a different program, right?
Yeah.
Because you might have people from different countries that have different trials at different times of the year, right? So,
Yeah.
but by and large, a lot of the time, the groups themselves are on similar programs or have at least like specific, like similar workout days. But then
Yeah.
you have maybe people like yourself and your roommates, or maybe your roommate, because Davis is part of Under Armour.
Yeah.
Who,
Well, no,
who?
well, he's part of Nike Swoosh.
Oh, Theo's part of Nike Swoosh.
Yeah, he has a team too.
Oh, cool. So okay, so then for people like you, well, you have a team too. I mean, you're part of the Aggies, but you were kind of like you're in there like a training
Solo
camp.
out there.
You're
Yeah.
solo out there. For the solo out there people, how was the vibe? Is it just kind of just like finding the pin drop and the people that are doing something similar to what you're doing that day, or is there do a lot of those guys, are they solo?
A lot
Or
of those guys have their own coaches from what
yeah,
I've met.
okay,
Yeah. They'll hop into workouts with other teams where it makes sense, but like we're also in a point of the season where everybody's like super specific on their workouts, so there's less hopping in to each other's workouts.
right. There's less wiggle room for you being flexible to someone else's workout.
Yeah, like at this point in the season, you kind of want to follow things to a T, right? Especially
Right.
if your goal is like USA's, but maybe in the fall, I can see that being more of a thing. But from the few guys that I did run with that were kind of in my situation, like, um, yeah, kind of just looking for pin drops, trying to figure out where everybody else is running, or if not, you just run by yourself.
Yeah. 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 Um, and one more thing that surprised you.
One more thing that surprised me. What direction do you want to go with this? Help me out here.
Um, I don't know. I mean, you can take any direction. You know, I kind of left the door open. I didn't want to do
Yeah.
like 3 negatives and 3 positives, right? I didn't want to
Yeah,
do
no, I
that because
get that.
I want to be positive. I you know, it's really
Yeah, I already said how like the random people you see out and about. I already said facility access pretty much. Huh. Another thing that how many people actually have a part-time job?
ooh. So
Like
a lot or a little.
a lot.
Yeah. What are some of the part-time jobs you heard of
Well,
of of the runners?
one guy worked a tech job, like IT.
Like a
Um,
real like IT tech
yeah,
job?
yeah,
Nice.
like working IT for a company,
Nice.
like Craig Huff,
Like Craig Huff.
Craig
Okay.
Huff Sports Warehouse.
Solid. So like 20 hours a week, 30 hours a week, like fully
20
remote?
hours, yeah. Yeah, pretty much fully remote. Yeah, you have to be here in Flag. My roommate was a civil engineer. Like
Was he working part-time?
yeah, he was working like 20 hours a week. But
Okay.
he's like building CADs and stuff.
Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
doing
Okay.
civil engineering. He did that. Davis for a while, he was working for Blanks, like packing boxes and stuff,
Okay.
helping out a bit with their formulas. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm just hearing some people, the online coaching is a popular thing.
Yeah.
Some people did Instacart, DoorDash. Other people like were waiters, waitresses, baristas.
So would you say it was about 50-50 from the part-time jobs, like, because I would say like civil engineer, working IT, like you do it part-time and then maybe, that could be a career when you're done running full-time, right?
Yeah,
Was it about
definitely.
50-50, like kind of like careers versus like side hustles, like pay the rent kind of jobs?
I would say it was about 50. Actually, it might be more people in like not career jobs.
Oh, okay. So maybe
So
like
however to explain that.
60 or
But
70% of people just, yeah, just like part-time gigs, which is there's no problem. There's nothing wrong with that, right? Like we all had those part-time
no.
gigs um to do what you got to do to pay the bills.
Yeah, no,
Um
but yeah,
that is
definitely.
interesting. I did not know that. And I kind of figured that people would have like some sort of contract or deal and or some sort of generational wealth.
Yeah. Yeah. No, 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 no. More people are working than they let off.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool. Well, that's cool. Thank you for sharing. I've been very very interested in that lifestyle. And yeah, that's really interesting how like open everyone is, and that's because that's
Yeah.
not you kind of hear about these groups that have like non-disclosure agreements and you can't post anything online, and like it's like this like shadow world, and from what you're describing it's a lot more open than that.
Yeah, definitely in Flag, everybody was open. At the end of the day, like, to be honest, being up there is miserable, man. Like, it's depressing, dude. Like, there's nothing fun to do.
I
Like,
mean you got to be
everybody's
yeah.
yeah, everybody's hella young. Like, you
Yeah.
can't sleep. Like,
Yeah.
sleeping I thought I was just bad at sleeping at altitude.
Yeah.
Everybody up there was like, "Oh, yeah, you just accept that you don't sleep well." Like, so their supplement ZMA that everybody swears by because it
Yeah.
helps you sleep a lot better. But like it's miserable being up there, dude. So I feel like everybody wants to, and I think that goes back to, everyone's like, there needs to be more beef and running. It's like, well, you can't be. These are like, you see all these people all the time. Like,
It's
why are you
weird.
not going
Yeah.
to be
Yeah.
friends?
What are you gonna beef? Yeah. Like, I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
sprinters can beef because they like have different tracks, right? You have like a
Yeah.
group in Florida and a group in Texas. Like they're not going to see each other, but you're literally running through Buffalo Park or whatever, right? Like,
Yeah. You're going to all the same, you're going to the farmer's market, which is one street, like a tiny little block. Like you're going to single speed coffee. Everybody goes there. You show up, Under Armour's there, like New Balance is there.
yeah.
Like all these people are there.
So
So it's
having,
like,
yeah,
what are you gonna do? Beef?
yeah,
So yeah, that I think that's kind of why everybody's open about what they do and what they're
yeah,
doing. It's
yeah,
just
yeah.
yeah, it's just nothing to hide.
So having experienced and seen it firsthand, and it is a little depressing as you from your perspective.
Yeah.
Going back in time, or not even going back in time. If there was, Mark 2.0 coming out, Phil Reed, Sean Davidson, Will Geiken coming out of college, 14 flat, 348, whatever, 29 flat, 2930, whatever you want to call it, whatever parameter you want to use. would you, would you suggest flag or altitude in general, or would you suggest like just kind of figuring it out? What would you say?
I would say if you're a Sean Davidson, usually what we call it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
If you're a Sean Davidson, man, you got to get your career started. I'm sorry. Like you can take the bet on yourself, but like if you're not going to be making money from it, and it's probably not going to follow you as an identity, meaning like become somebody from it like that in that regard, I feel like you kind of need to get your career started. But
Do you think it's
so
more? Yeah, it's like this is like you need to start that reality check earlier.
I think so. It's kind of like, and so going back to the point, would you recommend altitude? I think you got to be if you're going to do it, Colorado. Like
Okay.
you got to be, unless if you're lucky enough to find like a remote job, which now it's down to like 9%. But like,
So yeah, continue. Sorry. Oh,
yeah.
yep.
So like ultimately a lot of circumstances play into it, but there's certain people that can't make it out there because of that career aspect. Like there's not much jobs out there that are like career-based jobs versus like if you go to a major city.
So it's kind of work from home or side hustle, or I'm a 1310 guy.
Yeah, like if you have the talent and you're like really like you can make a team, like definitely go.
Okay,
But
so that's a good point you bring up. Is okay? Maybe Colorado is a better spot to go if you're more of, you want to do altitude but also work. So it's like maybe like you got Flagstaff's to Hollywood, but you got Broadway in Boulder, or you know what I mean? You got
yeah, definitely.
something like
Yeah.
that. I don't know,
Yeah.
but
Well, you have things like Salt Lake City as well
Salt
that
Lake
are
City, yeah,
yeah, where they're at altitude too, or you can like live in Provo or like Park City and then go
yeah,
down like
Albuquerque,
oh no, that's a lot of math, bro.
or Mammoth.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that's good. I think that's a good perspective, and that's kind of blending into our conversation about blue collar. Because I mean, I definitely agree with you. I think you can do like the Olympic trials marathon stuff and work full time. Like
Yeah.
the Aggies, we've built 50 years of that. That's what we do.
Yeah.
So I think that is a good perspective. So yes, thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Let's get into the message boards. And maybe Mark, because you're a lot more savvy with the Let's Run. If you've lived under a rock your entire life and have no idea what the Let's Run message board is, how would you describe it in one sentence?
Toxic. Toxic, bro. Anonymously toxic.
Yeah. So we're gonna keep it simple. We're gonna keep it simple. We're just gonna go down the top trending messages on the board.
Yes,
on the
sir.
right. Actually, let's start with the super hot Let's Run right here. Faith Kipyegon runs 4:06 in the mile in Paris today. What was her real time? That's an
No, they're
interesting
saying
one.
I'm pretty sure she didn't run it. Yeah. No,
Oh,
so
I'm
what
pretty
is
sure.
interesting yeah, no, I what is interesting about this one is I also saw the clock stop at one like you're picking hairs at this point. Like they're claiming she ran 4:06.9, which she did. Which I thought she did because that's when the clock stopped when she crossed, but they dropped it to 42. But I don't think that they'd have much of an incentive to do that. So I don't think it matters that much.
Yeah, this is such a Let's Run perspective. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Splitting hairs on a world record. But I guess I mean, if you really want to split hairs, world records are going to be the ones you split hairs on, right?
Yeah, but like what I'm getting at too, yeah, definitely like a world record if you put it that way. But what I'm getting at is like they get nothing out of dropping that from 4:06.9 to 4:06.4. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's not like she ran something like absurd. Like she's probably gonna beat that in an open race at some point in her career.
Yeah.
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 So
That's
yeah, what are your thoughts on
eh,
this thread?
this thread is just such a like it's kind of like that annoying person at work that raises their hand. That's like, oh, like, why'd you have to say that? We're about to wrap it up. You know what I mean? Or like, it just has that feeling of gotcha, right?
Yeah,
And
it's that kid in class that's like, "Are you gonna collect the homework today, Miss
yeah,
H?"
yeah. Are you? And
And you're
they're like,
like, "Bro, I
oh,
didn't do it. Why'd you do
yeah,
that?"
yes. Um, look at this one. I was reacting. Oh man, this is another. Oh, you can. I'm glad you can't see it.
Which
I just
one?
gotta notice. It's just. I gotta notice that that Let's one was crashing, which it crashes all the time.
Oh.
Because these ads are just super aggressive, and they like.
Yeah. Shout out,
Um,
programmatic ads.
yeah. Shout out what?
Oh, those are called programmatic.
Programmatic.
Yeah.
But keeping it like. Was Van Noy say the main thing? The main thing.
Yeah.
I think it was a great performance for Faith.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think
for sure.
I think she did a phenomenal job. I think it was a great. I mean, it was great. It was a wonderful production by Nike. Once again, they're very good at these sort of things. Um, the pacing, all the like we talked about Grant Fisher, but Cooper Tier was in there, and they had
Yeah,
a couple
Craig
of
Engels.
Craig Engels was in there. Yep, he's been
Yeah.
on fire pacing this season, but also running. He's had a great season. And they had some of the gals. They had Keely Hodgkins, right? Hodgkinson.
Yeah. Keely
And
Hodgkinson's.
who's the other one? The other gal?
Gemma
Um,
Ricci?
yeah, Gemma Ricci.
Well, no, Keely didn't run it. She was commentating, right? Oh, is that what
I
you
thought
said?
no, I thought Keely was running it.
I thought she just commentated.
I thought that was the coach
No.
from BYU.
No, she did do that as well, but I didn't think Keely ran it. I thought it was only, Gemma Ricci and someone else. Oh, yeah, it was Gemma Ricci and, Georgia Bell.
Was it? Oh, Georgia Bell.
Georgia
Georgia Bell.
Bell.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
Well, I knew it was. I mean, I knew it was a British middle distance runner.
Yeah, you weren't far off.
Okay, so yeah, Georgia Bell.
Yeah.
Didn't Georgia Bell get a bronze medal?
She did. She did. Yeah, bro, they're only running 800 of that thing.
Oh man. Okay, so let's go back to the board. Let's go back to the main page. Congratulations, Faith, on a world record.
Yeah. Yeah. No, 406 is crazy, bro. I still think she could have ran 403 if she approached it different. But again, she was trying to go under 4. You had to go after it. All right.
Okay.
You pick you pick.
Okay, I'll pick the next one. I'll pick Josh Hoey 1K world record attempt.
Ooh, okay. What's your thoughts on this?
Okay, why not 142 low at 800 meters and now 329 high at 15, matches peak at 15, only 0.5 seconds back at 800. I would have to know what is the current world record? Is it 212?
I think it's like 211.
211?
It might be something like ridiculous. Noah and I believe.
That is very impressive. That is very impressive.
Yeah, Noah and I think ran like 211. Is it no, very similar to athlete McLuffy who failed running 213. Yeah, is it Noah and I or is it no? The American record is Johnny Gray.
Yeah,
But
Johnny
it
Gray
is Noah.
has it.
Yeah, I want to say it is 211 though from Noah and I. I've been saying his name a lot, but yeah, he's like to give context on who that is. He is the guy that would have had the world record in the mile if Hisham El Grouge wasn't in the race.
Oh, that's the guy that got second by not even that much.
Not even that much. He also ran 343.
211.96.
211.96. Yeah. I don't think he'll get it, but I think he'll run like 212.
Yeah, that is such an aggressive pace. What is that coming through the 800? Like 144?
Maybe. Yeah.
I have
let's see. 30 seconds is one.
Let me see. Yeah, that seems like that's just super hot. Maybe not. Maybe like 145. I don't know if it's because 144 would be really fast.
Well, if you ran Okay. So it would be a 145 with a 26.
145 with a 26.
Yeah,
Dang.
last 200. That
Dang.
is crazy, bro. That is crazy. You have to average
Yeah.
like 144 point.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I think that's going to be tough. I mean, I think Josh is. Do you think he's the best American suited for that event, or do you think like a Hopple or
Yeah, I mean Josh has
uh,
been kicking Hopple's ass, so
what do you think about a Hawker and
no, Hawker
uh,
can't get it.
yeah, I mean we didn't American
Hawker hasn't even run 144, and that's what you have to average.
yeah and the 1500-meter guys didn't look great in the Grand Slam series. I mean I know it's kind of early season,
Yeah.
but
I
was
mean,
Josh.
I think what's his name could get it. A rope
Oh
and
yeah
probably young Wayne, but I don't
yeah
think Josh Hoey's getting it. I think Hoey will run like 213.
yeah. I think you're right. I think A Rope and Young Wayne are probably the best in the world that could get it. What about like Sajati or Tula
Yeah.
or those
Well,
dudes?
Tuwal I think is a 400,
Tual.
800 guy, so I don't think so.
Oh, is that a
K might be stretching.
little too spicy? Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
I
so.
think
I think that's tough. I think it's gonna be a challenge one. Oh yeah, here Young Wayne right here has a better shot. He's probably sub 330 as well. Ran faster. Yep. Hey, this is you. Hey man. See, we already know these comments before they come out.
yeah, exactly. Noah Nanai is
Uh
probably the most underrated runner.
yep.
Yeah, I mean,
Yep.
well, no, he's not because he has no titles,
Yep.
but
Yeah,
also had a short career.
because El Garouge existed.
Well, El Rouge only has like two 1500 or one 1500 title, I think, or something like that. That's why it's funny that like Jakob's getting a lot of flack for not being able to win championship races. Like El Rouge couldn't either. He didn't win until '04.
Yeah, and then he retired, right?
Yeah. That was his first Olympics, and he set the world record in '96. So
That's
like he had
wild.
lost two Olympics as the world record holder. So it's like give Jakob some grace. At least he won an Olympics.
Yeah. Okay, let's go back to
All
the
right.
homepage. You get to pick the next one.
Okay. All right. What is it? We can go. You know what? Let's change it up a bit. Streamer I Show Speed is a 10-9 100-meter runner. Are we going to talk about Chris Robinson and the 400 hurdles?
Oh.
Okay. So Streamer I Show Speed is a 10-9 100-meter runner. So some context on who I Show Speed is. If you're over the age of like 25, you probably don't know who he is. I'm very tapped in with social media, so like I kind of have an idea. Do you know who that is, Phil?
Is he Speed? Is he also known as Speed?
Yeah, same guy. Yeah, Speed.
Okay. Is he and he was supposed to race Noah Lyles?
He did race Noah Lyles in the 60.
Oh.
And that was the one where Noah took it really serious for like 40 meters and then started doing like the high stepping. And
Oh, yeah.
I Show Speed was like, hey, bro, give me 2028 Olympics. I think I could beat Noah. But that guy Speed, he's actually been racing people. So there was this like there's this influencer. I guess he has hundreds of thousands of followers, maybe even millions. He's went to Humble. Shout out Dustin Solomon. He went to Humble, and he's like this influencer about like sprinting and working out and stuff like that. And he was a decathlete.
Oh man.
And Speed kicked his ass in this race. So that's what like this one is about. So they raced like an 80 meter, and Speed beat him like pretty bad.
Oh man. Right here
Yeah.
is
So
this is it, yeah
yeah,
is this
duh.
race right here? Is
Yup.
it?
Oh wait, no, not that. Do not
It's
click that.
streamer
That's an
Dan.
ad. But
Well, right
yeah,
here,
that guy.
Daniel LaBelle.
Yes. He's like this big influencer about like lifting
Yeah.
and sprinting and how to become faster and a better athlete. And I
Yeah.
also did Google him. Turns out he only ran like 12.4 in the 100. So I was
Oh,
like, oh, that's what
at
10K runners.
Humboldt.
Yeah, at Humble. Because he was a
Oh man.
decathlete. And I was like,
Oh yeah. Okay, so he's decathlete. Maybe he was like
yeah. So
Um, oh, this is a great comment. This would be the equivalent of Sage Candidate talking about beating Kipchoge and actually doing it.
Yeah, so that's talking about this comment. What's the problem? He goes, he just needs 1 second to get there. As an untrained guy, 10:9 is more outstanding. If he trains like Noah and any other pro sprinter, you really think he can shave 1 second? He can't shave 1 second off. And so that's why everybody's killing him.
Yeah. Yeah, this is kind of like, so there's a whole like which Paul brother brought this to the social media people boxing real boxers? Wait, was it Jake or Logan?
What do you mean? Like which one boxes? Because both of them box, but I think you're thinking of Jake.
Jake is like, and who Jake's like a real boxer now, right?
Yeah.
But he started off kind of boxing people that were MMA or weren't really like, they weren't, or maybe past their prime.
Nah, he's still doing that, bro. He's still doing.
He's still doing that,
bro. Yeah. He's gonna box Cesar Chavez Jr., who's like 45.
Oh, geez. So that's kind of permeating over into track and field and sprinting now. It's like, because Tyreek Hill ran like 10-1.
Dude, he ran 10-1.
10-1.
Like, dude, I think he could actually beat Noah right now.
I think he could. And I was thinking about this, dude. Like, Tyreek he's in football shape right now, right?
Yeah.
So he's got he's got some muscle on him. He's got some, he's got some size because he's trying to take on the defensive back in the NFL.
Yeah.
But I just think that, like, you look at sprinters, you look at Kung Fu Kenny and Noah and all those guys, with the exception of Fred. They're all like a lot more lightweight, a lot more lean, right?
Well, yeah, they probably weigh about like 160, 170.
Yeah, and Tyreek is probably what, 215, 230 maybe, 215.
Yeah.
So you give him a chance to get into shape. I would be curious. I don't know that he'd ever do that because the Dolphins pay his paycheck,
dude.
But that would be, if he had some time to train.
Yeah. Well, what you got to keep in mind about Tyreek Hill is he was just as good as Noah was in high school.
Yeah.
So like Noah was a phenom, and he got 4th at the trials back in 2016 for Rio. I think he was a high schooler. Yeah. And he ran like 20.0 something as a like as a track specific athlete. Tyreek in his football offseason ran 20.13, which was the high school record. Like, Tyreek was a world-class sprinter in high school.
I want to say he broke 10 wind aided in high school.
Probably. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know about that. I mean, he did run 10-13 in high school. He ran 10-11 as a 31-year-old, but maybe he did. But I know
I want to say I saw that somewhere where it was a pretty big win, but I think he broke 10 in high school wind aided.
Yeah. I mean, regardless, that's still crazy, right?
Right.
I do think there's a lot of those guys that would probably be. So like, do you remember who TJ Holiday is? Trenton Holiday. He played for the Broncos back in the Peyton Manning era.
Yes.
Yeah, he was NCAA champ in the 100.
Yeah.
Like he ran 10-11.
I believe it. I believe wasn't Zeke Texas state champ in the hurdles?
I think so. Ezekiel Elliott.
So Ezekiel Elliott, and
Marquise
Goodwin was an Olympian in the long jump or triple jump.
Yeah.
The Raiders, the Niners receiver.
Yeah, if you look back at like any California state meet and just go through the sprinters that are like listed there, you'll see like so many NFL players.
Yeah. Yes, you will.
I think like Javid Best was like the state champion. Yeah, he was the state champion in the 100, ran like 10-3 in high school.
Oh man. Let's not get into the name dropping of running backs from the 2000 teens.
Marshall Falk. Oh, 2000 teens.
Yeah, 2000.
Peyton Hillis.
Yeah. Okay, my turn. Okay, so this one is going to be my wild card. So this one was on the top 10 list, but it has fallen off in the past couple of days because I was trying to do my homework this week.
Okay.
So high school running is a mess, not enjoyable anymore. So this one is talking about the postseason, all of the postseason races. So that's the name. It's high school running is a mess, not enjoyable anymore. Chef Gordon Ramsay is the poster of this. So the bullet points are: kids don't run with high school teams, but instead chase times in elite races. The next bullet point reads: multiple national championships, which create chaos and dilute talent. The next one is abundance of overage seniors. Shoes are the final nail in the coffin. Multiple sub fours every year, which should be 408s or thereabouts. It's all clinical, phoned in. Too many good runners to keep track of. Vibes are just off. Really just interested in my local state stuff now. So I love this phrase: your glass half empty. Are you okay, bro? Like, so I found this very interesting, and I did a little bit of research. So I went through and I looked up all of the popular postseason high school meets. So I'm putting that, if you're listening to audio of this, I made a little graphic here because I'm a visual learner. So I went and I looked up all of the popular postseason championships that these high schoolers run, right? And I looked it up, and there's so many of them now. And so I have here New Balance Nationals, Nike Outdoor Nationals, Brooks PR Invitational, Adidas Track Nationals, Hoka Festival of Miles, and I put the Golden West Invitational here. Mark, do you even know what the Golden West Invite is?
Yeah, I do know what that is.
Okay.
They had that when I was in high school.
So the reason I put the Golden West Invitational in there is because that was the only race you did after high school when I was coming up, right? So this is 20 plus years ago. So I understand that. I'm dating myself. But I put that in there just as a reference because it's in the same time of year as the rest of these, right?
Yeah.
And that was the Brooks PR meet of the day. Is you would have the state meet, and then the next week you would go to the Golden West.
Yeah.
And so I only put that. I'm not saying it's necessarily in the same category as New Balance, but I'm just putting it in there as a reference.
Yeah.
So they're all around the same time of year, right? And I have the dates, have the locations, and then I just referenced the boys' mile result, right? Just as a bookmark to reference. So what are your thoughts on this? I want to hear your thoughts.
I mean, it's always been this way. Like, I don't have a problem with it, especially the way you have it laid out here. I do have a problem with like high schoolers, ducking other high school competition, but like a lot of these have established themselves, right? Like in terms of what their importance is. I think Brooks P, like you can probably also throw Arcadia in here, but like
yeah,
as like
I kind of went
level.
Same level, but I kind of went postseason because they're always like, but yeah.
No, I get what you mean, but I'm just talking about like in terms of talent level. Like it's always kind of been this way where you have like Nike Outdoor Nationals, New Balance Nationals. Back then it used to be like Adidas Dream Mile was a big thing.
Yeah.
Like the Brooks 2 mile was the big one. I don't know if that was the big one again this year, but like I know I see you have the mile listed here, but like
the Brooks has a 2 mile.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about in terms of like what was the marquee event there.
Right.
Yeah, like I'm not sure if it probably was, but point that I'm getting at. There's always been this streak of which outdoor national championships you go to. Like after you win your state meet, it was like, okay, you do the 2 mile at New Balance, like the mile at Nike Outdoor, then you do the Adidas Dream Mile, then you do the Brooks PR 2 mile. Like if you look back at go back to Grant Fisher and Drew Hunter's time, they raced each other in both Brooks and Adidas. Right. And like there's always been this slew of meets. I don't think it's watered down. I feel like it's always been this way.
I think it's been this way. I mean, you tell me, how long has it been this way? I mean, maybe 15 years?
Well, I mean, yeah, because like what did what's his name do? Like German Fernandez. He did, I think, Nike Outdoor Nationals and New Balance Nationals.
Was that 08?
Something like that.
12,
I mean,
maybe?
Yeah, shoot. Like you even look at, well, Brooks is more, I think it's newer. I think
Brooks
that started
is definitely newer. I think I think Nike Outdoor Nationals has existed in some form.
Yeah.
And maybe it hasn't been that. But Festival of Miles, Brooks PR, I think is fairly new.
Yeah. Festival of Miles just got like big.
So
I think in like the last couple years.
So I think there's two ways to look at this, right? There's one in the positive, right? It's just like you have so many opportunities. These races are all over the country. To go race at Penn or University of Oregon, or some of these, St. Louis, Missouri, for the Festival of Miles. That's like that track is actually it's actually, like, side note, it's next to a children's museum, which is really cool. I went there this winter, but you get to go to these nice places, and to go to Hayward Field when you're 17 or 18 years old and get all that gear, and I think what is it, Brooks or New Balance, they give you a full kit.
Yeah.
Right? You get a full kit, you get a backpack full of cool stuff.
Hoka too.
Hoka, right? They have that. Like, who wouldn't want that, right? You're a high school, especially if you're an 11th grader or you're an underclassman, and you get to come back in August with all that gear to flaunt it at your school. That is cool.
Yeah.
So I kind of see this and obviously you know more about marketing than I do, but it almost seems like these companies kind of like feel like they have to have a version of this to, because to have their event, their high school event, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So that's one and then I'm kind of on that side, right? Like I think that this is overall a good thing. I do see that there, is it watered down? Is there too many? Is it, are people ducking each other? There is that opportunity, sure. But I think that all comes out in the wash in college, right? If you're ducking people being weird in high school, we're going to see you at pre-nationals. We're going to see you at Wisconsin, or we're going to see you in Terre Haute, Indiana in the fall when you go to college. So I think that it's kind of a moot point. One thing I did notice about these meets is Brooks PR and Hoka do it differently. Hoka's is just miles, right? Yeah. And Brooks is very select events. They don't do field events at the Brooks PR invite. It's just select events. They don't even have all the track events like that. I don't think they have the 200.
Oh, wow.
And it's one day. New Balance, Nike, Adidas are all 3 or 4 day meets. And they have like high school decathlons and stuff like that. So those are going to be kind of like more like your Mount Sac type of events versus, like, I feel Brooks and Hoka is a lot more pared down and kind of a little bit more hype. And I'm not trying to be a homer here, but like doing like the research and looking at all the websites, like Hoka, I think it seems like to be the most fun.
Yeah, it looks like a cool event.
It looked like a really cool event. And consequently, that was where the kid ran the fastest. He broke 4. And yeah, I really like it when they do the pro events too, because Brooks is also, they have a couple of pro events there. Kieran Lum ran 3:34.
Jeez.
So I really like, I'm glad you suggested this topic, because I went on this deep dive. I'm like, wow, I didn't realize that there was this many postseason opportunities for high schoolers these days. We literally had one. We had 2 actually back in the day. We had Golden West, and then you would do the U20 if you really wanted to go, right? You would do USATF U20, which I did my senior year.
Wait, did you make a world team?
I didn't. I did not make a world team. Well, the U20 is tough for guys, man, because we have to go race against like college sophomores.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So you're racing against college guys who can run like 3:42 as 18, 19-year-olds as freshmen. Yeah. So yeah, I thought that was an interesting thread, and yeah, I'm not such a hater. I really thought at first I kind of was, but I'm like, if I was in high school, dude, I would do 1 or 2 of these.
Yeah.
If I was at that level,
I would want to. Yeah.
I would do one of them. I would go, probably Brooks or Hoka or something like that. That was fun. Yeah. Reading some of those comments.
Yeah.
But yes, good episode, Mark. Thank you everybody for listening.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Check out Hogan Performance on social medias, runhogan.com. And as always, subscribe to Lane One. We're trying to make a push for 1,000 subscribers. We're only 5 away. So if you made it to the 66-minute mark, you need to subscribe if you aren't already. But yeah, thanks for listening. Like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you next time.
Cue the music.